So alright guys, welcome to this web development crash course. So we are going to be starting with HTML, right? Yes, we are going to go through HTML. Now so yes, we'll do HTML, CSS and then JavaScript. This is the whole HTML portion of it, right? So let's say module 1 is going to be our HTML. So we are going to do HTML first, and this is how it's going to go. So we are going to look at our boilerplate first, like how should our HTML look like, the essential stuff that we need before doing our HTML stuff, before writing the actual web content. You understand? Yes. So we're going to look at the doc type, the meta character sets, UTF-8 and all that stuff. Yes. Then for number 2, we are going to look at some structure tags. Yes, that our divs, our span, I can't remember, headers, main context. We have a main tag for that here. Footer, uh, yes, a whole lot. You're going to look at a whole lot of those stuffs. Then we'll move on to content tags. You understand? So content and media, we'll get to know that we have image tags, we have video tags, we have tags for paragraphs, and we have tags for all that kind of stuff, right? And also the a tag for hyperlinks and what have you. Then we're going to look at our list, right? We have two types of lists I reckon. We have ordered and unordered list. So we are going to look at ordered list and then unordered list. And now the details are in the bulletin. You understand? We'll be between ordered and unordered, but we are going to get there soon. Then we have to look at HTML forms, right? Forms to pick up user information and all that. We need our forms. And then for that, we're going to look at some semantics. What are we supposed to do to help our screen readers and even ourselves for search engine optimization and all that. And then finally, we are going to look at attributes that are going to allow us to continue. Yes, so we're going to look at attributes that are going to allow us to continue to move to CSS and JavaScript. So we're going to look at classes. That's going to help us to style IDs. That's going to help us to identify our stuff. You see, IDs, as by now we know as IDs, then that's a unique identity. Source is going to source is SRC for source, all right, for our images, for our scripts, all sorts of stuff. Understand? Href is hyperlink, like hyperlink reference, and then also ALT to describe our images. And then in that will be done with the HTML section. Now that we have all of that, you can get right on the way with learning our HTML and then making this course, right? You are going through this our web dev crash course. All right. Now the first thing I want to talk about is our naming syntax. Now this is a question that can pop up a lot. Now the common syntax is to name your home pages index.html. You understand? There can be other pages, all right, and you have the total liberty to do whatever you want with them, even this page. But like I've been saying, this is going to be our home page and it's common, it's safe. Let me put it out, it's safe to keep this as what index.html. So let's keep this in our head as what our home page. All right. Now I want you to go to the extensions, go to your extensions tab, and I want you to look for something called the live server. Yes, this is it right here. Now I want you to install this live server. Now this is going to allow our browsers to be updating whatever content that we are putting up. You understand, without us having to be refreshing all the time and all that kind of stuff. Yes, now that we have also very important, I want you to look for emmet. Emmet. Oh my god, I typed triple M's. Emmet like this. I can't find it. So I'm going to leave the actual, keywords, the search keywords in the description. So you shouldn't be stressing about that. Now let's go back to our index.html and let's focus on only on that. So yes, now this is going to be the emmet in action. We are going to generate our boilerplate. Now this boilerplate, because this is all what you are going to need when we are working with our website. This is like the basic, should I say, structure of a website. You see, regardless of all the tags that we are going to be uh, adding to this. This is our basic structure. So let's go through that really quickly. So this is going to be our doc type. I think it's self-explanatory, the type of document. And then it's going to be our opening HTML tag. Now, what we like to do in this opening HTML tag is to add in our language. So we say language equals English, so that we know that we are dealing in English. Now, our head is going to contain our meta information, all our important meta information, and then our links to our style sheets, all our style sheets, both locally on our machine and external style sheets. We'll get into all of that later in the course. And then we also have a title over here. Now, our title is going to be what we want our page document, or whatever you want, like our what we want our page to be called. You understand? So I'm going to say learn HTML. Oh, sorry, HTML like this, and this will be our title. And then kind of to make a demonstration of that, let's run this with our live server. As time goes, I'm going to put the browser and then the code side by side so that we see in real time what's actually happening. Now I want you to look at the top here. Yes, I want you to look at the top here. And we can see that it has been written learn HTML over there very nicely. So we can bring this back, and then we'll have, oh, that's too much. Okay, and then we'll have it like that. All right. Okay. This is not important right now. Let's keep everything zoomed, then let's move on. All right. So that's our title, and now we are going to have our head. Now I'm going to keep. Oh, sorry. That's our for our head. Yes. So once we have all of that, and then our title, we can close our head tag, and then move on to our body. So now our body is going to contain the main content. And now when we have also filled up our body with tags, with information, with web content, then we can go ahead to close our HTML tag. You understand? Yes. Now I know this is not how a lot of people go about teaching this, but I want you to be able to to be able to build something as fast as possible. So we are going to learn how to make a nav bar. The very first thing we are going to learn how to make is a nav bar, right? So when you go on a web page, I don't know if you have noticed, but you see something at the top there. Now that's navigation. So the nav element represents a section of a page that links to other pages or to parts within the page or a section. Yes, so sometimes when you are navigating, you can be taken to different web pages or sections on the same page. Yes, we are going to understand that in a minute. So with our navigation, well, yes, now we are going to implement this navigation using lists. You understand? Now list is exactly what it sounds like. It sounds like, yes, a list of items. You're going to be listing them down. You understand? Yes. But really think about it. We want an unordered list. So there are two types of list. We have an ordered list, that's OL, and then we also have an unordered list, that's UL. Now I imagine you can think of why we will be using an unordered list. You understand? Because we want this to be a navigation, the home, about, services, contact, and all that. You understand? You understand why we want this to be unordered? Because we want to be able to flex them horizontally like that in the future without all the numbers and that stuff coming into the way. You understand? So like, yes, inside the UL tag, that's another list tag. It takes LI tags. Yes, now whether the list is on ordered or whatever, you're still going to be needing this LI tags. That's for list. Understand? And then you write what you want to write inside. So we can say, okay, home. I'm going to copy this. I know, judge me. Okay, home. Yes. Okay. So we can say home, about, uh, contact. We can say like, and then we can say subscribe like this. Yes, assuming we have pages for this, right? Yes. Now I'm going to shut this down, and then we are going to run this to see how everything is looking. So open with live server. Yes. Yes, now you can see what is happening over here. this is our unordered list in action. It's unordered, so we just have, like, should I say bullets? We just have them in bullets. You understand? Instead of maybe one, two, three, or yes, we have them in bullets. So later on, we are going to like to flex them like this so that they are horizontal, and then we can come and click. Yes, and now you can see that they don't lead anywhere. That's because we have not set up anything. Now we have to add some hyperlinks so that these list elements actually take us somewhere. You understand? Now to do that, we're going to need our A tags. Understand? Yes. Now A is for hyperlink. So A is going to tell us where to go. Now our home is our home page. Yes, now I could have just made this as the active page, but let's still put index.html for practice. Yes, so our href is our hyperlink reference. Where do we want to go when we click this button? Yes, so now this home has to be in between the A tag for this whole thing to work. So let me see. All right, let's do for the about too. So we are going to nest our about in another A tag. So we do A. So yes, if you don't have the image, you're actually going to be having to type your brackets, your A, and then your href, your equal to, and then the quotation marks, and then you put in what you want to put in. So we say about.html like this, and now this is still not going to do anything. Okay, let's demonstrate that. Let's run this again. All right, now what are we seeing here? We can see that our home is highlighted in some blue stuff, right? Yes, now when we click it, I don't know if you actually see it, but it's doing something, it's taking us. Yes, and now our home is highlighted in blue because it's going to take us somewhere. You understand? Now I see this is common mistakes. That's what I want us to highlight it. Sorry. Yes, so we have done the H references off already, but our about is not in between the A tags. It is still outside the A tags. So we now have to carry our about. We now have to carry our about and put it in between the A tags. You understand me? Yes. Now a simpler way would be that, okay, when you're writing, after you write your list, you also write your A tags, and then you set the H reference. Now, when we don't have anywhere to go and we also don't want any errors, you can put in a hash. If you put in a hash, whatever you're going to write, whenever we click, you're not going to have any errors. It's just going to be cool for us like that. Yes. So yes, now we can see all the three have been lit up. You understand? Now I think the about takes us somewhere. Yes, now our about page is blank. Let's refer. Our about page is blank. We haven't written anything in the body. Yes, this boilerplate is still there, but I have not written anything in the body. So our about page is still very much blank. Yes, but but that's how it's supposed to be. So now we can go back to our home page, and then we say that, oh, we have our navigation working over here. You understand? Yes. So now that we've got navigations out of the way, let's go ahead and make. So yes, this is a simple way of making your nav bar. Now when we get to CSS, we're going to make this very beautiful and blah blah blah. Yes. When you get to CSS, you're going to make this beautiful and what have you. Yes. So when we are done with that, now you can come and see main. Yes, we mean to say that, okay, now we are come to deal with our main content. You understand? We want this to be our main content. Now, after our main tag, so that's what main means. The main represents the main content of the body of a document or application, blah blah. As you can see over there, that is just the word itself. Main means main, all right? Yes. And then now we are going to work with another tag. Now I like to group everything into sections. Yes, so we work in this little section after section after section, and then when we are done, we'll have a full page. You understand? Yes. So now the section tag helps us to deal with, uh, let's see what they have for, yes, a generic, okay, so a section of the document. You understand? So maybe our hero section, our contact section, our services section, like you see all these sections. You understand? We are going to make all these sections, and then we are going to combine all of them. At the end of the day, we are going to combine all of these sections, and then we have a full page, a full-on page. You understand? Yes. Now, what do I mean by hero section? Hero section is what we see when we visit the website, like right after our navigation and everything, like what we see. You understand? Yes, it's supposed to captivate the viewer. It's supposed to grab their attention. You understand? Yes, that's what we mean by a hero section. Yes, we are going to do that in a bit. Yes. Now here's where should I add the ID? So okay, let's just do it. So guys, next we are going to be making our hero section. And now this is not a traditional tutorial, so we have not yet spoken about divs, but I'm going to add it. So yes, I'm going to be adding images, and then I like putting all of every single one of my images in divs. You understand? So that I'm able to access it that bit easily. And yes, now we're going to understand in a minute. Now ignore this piece of monstrosity over here. Now let's be here. Okay. So now let's say this is our working space, right? This is our work area, and then we have our web page like this. Yes, now what can we decide to do? Well, we can decide to insert. Actually no, let me make, so this is our, yes, so let's say the bigger one is our workspace, right? That's our web page, like the blank canvas that we usually see, right? That's it over there, right? And then and then we can come over here, and then we say that we have inserted a picture, right? We want to add a picture, so we add an image tag, and then we put it right over here. You understand? Now when we put this over here, it's very hard to control the picture, because trust me, there are pictures. People take lots of pictures with lots of devices and what have you. Now this picture is it's going to be very hard to control and do all that. Yes, you can do the try and error and then what have you, blah blah blah, and then yes, but still it's going to be a pain to handle. You understand? And then now when we want to see padding wise, pixel wise, is to the main container. Yes, yes. Now that's a keyword. Now divs are containers. You understand? Yes. Now let's think differently. Let's think about if this whole larger canvas was our web page. You understand? And now this is our div, and now this is our picture. Where's my brush? Yes. So now this is our div. This will be our div, and now this will be our picture. You understand? Yes. And then now when we want to move the picture, we can move this whole thing. We can size this whole thing. You understand? And we are going to have it like that. Yes. So now imagine we just place this picture like this, and then we wanted to add another one. It will just come under it like this. You understand? Like ideally, you understand? Yes. But another importance of a div is you can place another picture here like this. Yes, so when you have a div, we can kind of line the pictures up in the same line like that. Yes, now this is going to be all apparent when you move into ACSS and all that we have here. But I want us to think of, so our divs are containers. Yes, now I'm drawing an actual container here, but I'm usually not actually going to see anything. Yes, now let's come back to this to lock it in. Let's look at our monstrosity over here. So now let's say this monstrosity of ours is a pizza, right? Yes, you heard me right. This is a pizza, right? And these are all our slices over here. You understand? And then we say, oh, we want to add some meat into the slices. We want to add some, you know, flavor and all we have we over here. And then all the ingredients are going to be on the slices like that. Yes. All right. Yes. So now that we have this, like now this our pizza is a div. You understand? So uh this could be our hero section. This could be our about, this could be our services. This could be all working together to create the web page, right? Yes. Now don't get confused. Now again, this pizza, sorry, sorry. Now this pizza right here didn't come out of thin air. You understand? This pizza didn't come out of thin air. The slice, sorry, this slice didn't come out of thin air. It was actually, so that's why you have to actually go ahead and create the div, create the container to hold everything that is supposed to hold. You understand? So proportion is key. So we can't have so let's say we have to uh, distribute the meat. Oh my god, can I hear myself? Yes, evenly. We can't have all of it. Uh, we can't have too much over here and then less over here or blah blah blah. And then anyway, once you take out this slice, we can go ahead and do whatever we want with it. We can use to drink tea, we can use to drink Fanta, we can use to do whatever we like. Yes, that's the point of divs. So with this, we can go ahead and create our hero section, and then you understand better with the practicals. Okay, all right. Now we can go ahead and create our hero section. You understand? Yes. So we can go ahead and create our hero section. Yes. Now before that, I want to show you something. You understand? Yes. So we are going to take our H1. We are going, yes. Now when I press H, you can see that my Emmet, yes. Okay. So that's the keyword for the search. Emmet abbreviation is such that you're going to get the extension. Yes. So this is H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. You understand? Yes. Now I'm going to use all of these to do a demonstration before actually going ahead to create our hero section. So let's hang along. This H2. Uh, this bad. This is H3. Okay, let's be writing it along the way. Let's not waste time. So uh so this is H1 text, right? Let's come in here. Um, this is H2 text. This is H3 text. So we can say H4. This is H4 text. So now we are going to go ahead and then run our index, our index.html. Yes. So as you can see here, this is so H1 to H6 text are in order of size. You understand? So H1 text is bigger, H2 text is smaller than that. But like yes, so this is descending order. So it descends from H1 to H6 and then ascends from H6 to H1. So H6 is the smallest, H5 is the next, and then like that. So once we come back from, once you are moving from H6, we'll have the text increasing and increasing and increasing and increasing and increasing like that. So we get to this monstrosity. That's H1. Yes, now I'm going to give you something. So H1 is for, so we think of it like H1 is for headers. This is for subheaders, sub-subheaders, sub-subheaders, depending on whatever kind of monstrosity projects that you are dealing with, and then the tags that you need. Yes, so that's that. Now we can go back and try to build our beautiful, not well, not beautiful. We are not doing CSS, yes. So we build our section. Yes. Okay. Yes. Now for the hero section, now at this point, I want to add in a story. You understand? Because you are not learning the traditional way. You're actually building a project whilst learning, right? So I want to add a story. So let's say we are Erling Haland and we are trying to create a portfolio so that oh, if the other clubs see us, they'll give us money and then oh, what have we? Yes. So now we are going to add for our hero section, we are going to add an H1 tag. Yes. Actually, I want to start with a picture. But okay, we just learned about H1. So let's put it to use. So say welcome to, let's see, Viking City. Viking City. Like this. Yes, because you know Haland is a Viking, right? Yes. And then we add a P tag. Yes. Now P stands for paragraph. P helps us to add what? Paragraph. So the P element represents a paragraph. As you can see in the pop-up right over there. You understand? Yes. Now doesn't literally mean I'm going to write a paragraph, but this is some quite lengthy text. So we can see, I can see. So the Viking, okay, sorry, let me see. The greatest striker of our generation, of this generation. Well, I don't want any battles in my comments. Let's change this to goal scorer in pen I am wearing. So goal scorer like this. Is it a compound? Let's leave it like this. So the greatest goal scorer of this generation, in fact, our generation, and more generations to come, I will, I reckon, yes. And now let's add in our picture. Now once again, before we add the picture, I've created this container, and then God being so good, it's actually the way HTML actually looks. It actually looks like it's in here. So you can see this div right here and this div right here. And now I have to put the image inside. So whenever you see div tag, it's yes, the div element has no special meaning at all. It represents its children. It can be used with the class lang and title attributes to mark up semantics, blah blah blah. Okay, yes. Now these people are very bad at explaining. So yes, div is a container. Forget what they wrote. Div is a container. Keep it in your head. It's a container. Now it's going to keep our images. Now, how do we add images? You may add now to add images. We just need an image tag. And then for that is img. Yes. Now, when you are typing, you must actually have to do open bracket img src blah blah blah. Because of my extensions, I don't have to do all that. Yes. So now let's go through this. So this is our image tag. Yes, it represents that we are about to add an image, right? Then for the source, and for the source, we are going to actually add the file part of what we are doing. So in our folder, understand? And when it's deployed anywhere, blah blah blah. Once the file is in that path, it's going to show. And then now this alt text, we are to describe our image, you understand, for the screen readers and then the helpers and what are we, so that uh those people who are blind and blah blah. And then also most importantly, if our image doesn't display for some reason, we run on the internet. So if our image doesn't display for some reason, you're going to see this, and then that I don't know, failed download icon or something like that. Yeah, so let's just call this our hero image, right? And now for the part, very very important. Now I wanted to bundle up this up very nicely and then put all the images in one place and then be like, oh, I'm going to fetch it from there. But I remember starting getting the file path, like getting the image to display. It took a while and a lot of confusion. Understand? Yes. So now I want you to go and click on your image. Yes, let's see our image. Beautiful, beautiful. This is the greatest striker of our time. Yes, so beautiful, right? We have it. So we right click on it, and now want to copy our relative path. Now listen to me very carefully. Copy our relative path. Now I've been doing this so I can look at this and just write out the relative path. I can just see Haland1.jpg. I can just copy the file name because it's in the same directory. You understand? Now very important. I want you, when you're downloading whatever images that you want to use, or maybe I'll share the repository. Maybe you get my same exact images and we are working with that. Whatever you are doing, I want you to make sure it's in the same repository. Even if it's not, just copy the relative path. Yes, now once you have the relative path, I'm not going to type it for your sakes. So I'm going to come and paste. Yes, like I said, they're in the same repository, so that should work. So Haland1.jpg, blah 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 blah. Now, just for the fun of it, I'm going to add in an H5 or 6, 5 or 6. Blueberry, blueberry. Okay, 5. An H5. And then you can say what a go, like this, right? Yes. Now keep in mind, now what are you seeing? Now you are seeing that this our H5 text is also in our container. This is also part of the container, mind you. Yes, we could have kept it outside here. So now whatever we do to manipulate the container, we make the container bigger. Our text inside is also going to be bigger. If you make it smaller, our text and the image, now they are in the same boat. Yes, they are with Noah in the same boat. Understand? Yes. Now we have written a lot. Now let's go and see a visual representation of whatever is going on. Yes. So this is what we have. Understand? Yes, this is what we have. So now, yes, welcome to Viking City, and then the greatest goal scorer of this generation. This is exactly how I'll make my portfolio if I was him. Then Yana Khan. And then look at that beauty over there. Mind you, this actually ended up in a goal. Yes. And then we have our H5 text over there. Now I'm thinking it should be H6 or even a P. It kind of looks like a heading. Yes. Now mind you, we can't see anything, right? Mind you, the all this is part of the container. The image and the water go are in one container, but everything is usually blank. We are not going to know until we start adding some CSS. I'm not going to know what is this and what is that until we start adding some CSS. But we will know that in our code, we made the whole thing together, so they are in the same boat. You understand? Yeah. So you actually make this a 6. And you can see the emit, it edited both tags, both the opening and the closing tag. Yes, so now that's a simple hero section. You see, that's a simple hero section. Now I don't know if I should throw in a button or not. Let's keep this simple. Let's keep this simple for now. Yes. So now, next we are going to be building an about section. We are going to learn more about some of the tags. Yes, we are going to use our strong elements and blah blah blah. I'm going to make sure we play around with all the tags by the time we are done with making this project. All right. Yes. So stay tuned. All right. So yes, now that we are done with our hero section, very important. I want us to look at comments. You understand? Yes. Now comments is these are lines in our code base that when everything is compiling, they will just be run over. They're not going to be added to our program. So when we write our comments and then we later go on to render the page, you're not going to be seeing that as part of the page. You understand? Yes. So as you can see, I've added this line. This is a comment. When we run our page, it's not going to pop up in the outcome. Yeah. So now I want us to move on and make an about section for Erling Haland. And then for good practice, let's add another comment. Okay, so we say about, oh my god, say about section like this, about section, and then we can come down like this, and then we can start working on our section. So again, before we start this section, we need a section tag. So like this, and then now once we have our section tag, we can go in and input in our content. Yes. Now, how do I want to play this? How do I want to play this? Okay, so let's use another H2. Yes. So about the Viking. Yes, I keep calling him Viking. Yes, and then we add one P tag, and then we are going to run it, and we'll see how everything looks like. We say Norwegian. Let me see, striker, uh, goal machine, uh, portfolio, destroyer of defenses, like this. Yes, and now let's run and see what's going on. So we are going to actually prove that our comments don't pop up in the code itself, right? Yes. So we can see that all our content. Okay, all right. Yes. Now this is an H2. As you can see, why this is an H2. This is how big the H2 is. And you can see it's reasonably smaller than the H1 too. Yes. So that's how to go about those types of tags. You understand? Yes. So let's continue. Now I want us right away, I want us to learn about some tables. You understand? But since we'll be examining, maybe you're looking at this for your college work or something. I want to show us something. Now this is a B tag. This is going to make our text bold, I believe. Yes, actually did not revise before doing this. I feel like I do this for a living too. Alright, yes, so this is supposed to make our text bold. Yes, the B elements represent a span. Yes, I also forgot. Let's do some span text. Yes. Now you see how I've been saying that our div is a container. Yes, now when we have our span is also a container, but inline. I don't know if you can see the way that, yes, you can see where we have the span. It actually looks like a line itself over here. You can see that it's actually looking like a line. Yes, now span is inline. It's an inline div, inline container, right? Yes. So now when you go, it's also invisible like the div. But let me try to add some inline style. Let's see, color like this. Mm, uh, Let's see something that will stand out. Our site is white, so let's do black, right? And then we save it, and then I didn't shut down the yes. So our live yes, okay. Our live server should work like that. So Norwegian striker go match. Yes, we can see that our text is bold over there, but our machine was going with our spark. All right. Yes, so I've changed the color up a bit from the black. Okay, the text was sorry. Yes, so we can see that the span has affected only our machine text because we put only the machine text in that container. Because we put only that machine text in that container. You understand? Yes. Now we didn't color the container itself. Keep in mind, we didn't color the container itself. But as we move ahead with our CSS stuff, we are going to go deeper into that. We didn't color our container itself. Just we put the machine, the word machine in the container, then we color the text machine, the machine text. That's what we were able to color. But we didn't color the whole container itself. Yeah, bear with me. Yes, now let me see. So I think at this point we should move on to uh, working with tables. Let's add in some stats. I mean, it's Haland, so yes. So let's see statistics like this, right? And, all right. So we have our statistics like that, and then for that we are going to need yes. Now to create table, to create our table, we need a table tag. All right. Yes. So we can see table like this. Yes. Now at this point, I want you to see the pattern. You understand? Now this is how we learn any language or any programming language. Like, feel free to go through the whole thing. I'm keeping it very short. I'm not going to keep all the info. Like, whenever you need information, you can go and look it up online. Of course, you can feel free to go and look it up online. But now you should notice the pattern by now. HTML, we are dealing with tags and a lot of tags. You see, so the more tags you know, the more you are good with your HTML, right? Yes. So when you find yourself in a situation where you want to do something but you don't know what tag to use, you can just Google the type of tag you're looking for. But generally these are the tags that we are using throughout. Like, it's the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time we'll be using this type of tags. Yes. So now back to our table, right? So we need a table tag, right? And then we need a table. Now, yes, I don't want to go back to the drawing board again. Now picture how our tables are, right? We have rows, right? And then columns. But we're going to be building this table row by row by row by row. Yes, and then you get what I mean by that. Now, the very first row of any table is going to be our table head, like where we are going to put the captions. You understand? Yes. So what do I want for my table? Well, let's say season, the season, the season under review, right? And then we see let's add another table here. We say let me see goals. Very important. Should have even put that first. Now this is also how to sell yourself. So see you want double killer. Let me say access. Now that would be bad. Our Lido mini Salah. Yes, like that. So this is going to be our our very first rule. Yes. Now let's see. Let's like assuming red. Uh, yeah. All right. Yes. So I added a border of one so that we have some visibility. You understand? To put some padding. I don't know why it was not showing the first time, but to put some padding around it. Yeah, so you get an idea. Now back to what I was saying. So we make a row, right? Now there's a lot of nesting. So like follow the nesting. Kind of when you how you follow the brackets when you're learning all those other programming languages, right? So this is in this row. These table heads are in this row, right? And when we go back here, we'll see that we have what our season, our goals, and then our assists. We have made that the heads. You understand? Now, ideally, we want to fill this with. uh, content. So we create another row, and that's tr. Now tr just simply means table rows. You understand? Yes. Now instead of th for table, now we use tp. TD simply means table data. You understand? And now for which season we are going to reference his best ever season, I think so far. 2023, 2020. Okay, it's 2022, 2023. I think yes. And then we'll also add another data. What's the next table head goals? How many? I think it was 50, 53, 52, 50. It was in the 50s, but let's just say 52, right? Yes, and let's add for the last assist. I want to lie. Let's see. Okay, let's assume he gave 13 assists. Beautiful number if you ask me. Like combine goals and assists combined. Yes. So let's save this up, and then we can go back to our table, and then we'll see how everything is looking. Um, so we go back to our table. All right. Yes. Now we have our very little table over there like that. Yes. Now I want to expand it, and for practice, you also expand where you are. Like let me add other fake seasons, right? Yes. So for that, I'll simply copy this. I mean, it's a whole row, and then I'm going to paste it out. So if I paste this like this, it's a fake row. I don't know. I might not even change the content itself. I just need the table. All right. So we have the table like this. Yes, you can play with it however you want. In fact, you can use whoever you are into, like to make the tutorial more, get more with you, resonate more with you. You can use whoever you are into. Yes. Now I close the section tag really early, and I'm messing up the whole thing. But let's see. Let's close this over here. Okay. Um, all right. So let's close our section. No, no, not our body. It's better so section like this. All right. Yes. So that will give us a full section. Yes. Now, if you were following me closely, I hope you didn't make the same mistake. Check your section closing tag, right? Yes, it should be nested. All our content should be nested in this particular section, right? Yes. Now that's it for an about section. I know it may seem really scanty, but uh, yes, but I mean, it's Haland. This most of all what you need to sell him, right? Yes. Now we are going to go into more of the tags in the upcoming section, right? I think we are going to do, let's see, contact. All right. Yes. How do we contact Erling Haland or something like that? Whatever comes with the day. Yes, we can add another section because now we are in business. We actually in business, right? So we do this. And then since we are not doing the IDs and other stuff, I don't want to confuse anyone. That's why I'm not writing. It actually feels very weird to me, but that's why I'm not writing the IDs and the classes and blah blah blah. So let's see career highlights. That's what I said, right? I believe. So career highlights like this. Let me go ahead. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. So should I? Okay. Let's move. Let's move. So what do we do first? Again, I'm using the H2 because ideally the only thing that should have the H1 tag. I mean, it's a matter of preference, but for me, it's the very first thing you wrote, like the biggest heading on your page, and that's in the hero there somewhere. Like, wake up. Mm, yes, that looks right. So career highlight. Yes. Now how are we going to proceed about this? Okay. Yes. Now so this we can list some achievements, right? So we do this. Now you can see fastest. Uh, yes. So this is also an unordered list, right? we want to give the impression that these are in no order. You understand? Yes, we want you to draw your own conclusions about what you think about this stuff, right? So you see fastest to 50, you see Premier. It was him, right? Premier League goals. Actually, that's not important. The accuracies in this are not important, right? The important thing is that we are learning over it. So champions. Has this ever happened? Champions League top scorer. Okay, yes. 22-23. Like this. And you can see this over here. Yes, I'm going to do just those two for now. Actually, there's more. There's more. That first season was a blast. But yes, now I want to teach now. Something new is coming up, right? Now I want us to let me add a comment first. I want us to embed. We're going to embed a YouTube video, right? Oh my god, what's wrong with my screen? I want to embed a YouTube video, right? Yes, we want to add a YouTube video into our web page. Sorry, we want to add a YouTube video into our web page, right? Yes. Now to do that, we want to use an iframe. Yes. So now for our iframe, I want to do some styling in here. Bear with me. Otherwise, like right away, let's do some styling. Because we are going to be dealing with videos. You want to set some parameters. Now keep picturing it in your head, right? These are all in pixels. So if you do this by 215, ideally we'll have some small box in there, and then our video will be what? Popping. Yes. Now these are all like arguments. I don't want to say arguments, but stuff that our iframe takes. Yes. So if you have worked with these all these desktop models, right? Yes, it's kind of that when you are styling, let's say buttons or something like that, you have foreground, background, active foreground, active background. So yes, we are now listing. So we are doing width, height, source. Yes, we'll go for the source very soon. Now you can see frame border. I think that's how. Why am I not getting suggestions? Frame border is equal to let me see 0. Yep. And then we say allow. Okay. So I guess since I can so allow full screen. Yes, because we want it in full screen. And I can close this. Okay, that's beautiful. And our iframe also closes like that. Alright. Yes. And then we can end this section. Yes. So now I'm going to fish for our video link. Right. Where's my YouTube? Uh, mm, mm, uh, Haland skills and goals. Okay, so let's take this as a source. You say share. Let's copy the link. And let's go back to our VS Code, right? Yeah. And let's put this in the source because we got a source, right? Yes. Now we go to our page. Let's see if so guys, at this point, like my sound went out here. So the summary of it all really is that you have to do some refining to the link. Right? If you Google, you are going to see what you're supposed to do. And then you have to change the link up some bit when you're using the iframes. That's if you try and then it doesn't work. Yes, and then basically I also put the whole frame in a div because when you're styling, you want to be able to control that whole portion of it easily. Understand? Yeah, so that's like the summary of it all. Yes, we'll see you in the next section. I want us to look at very two important tasks here. So for that, I'm going to add an extra section. I didn't plan on this section, but let's look at it. So let's call it, let me see, gallery, right? Let's say gallery, like this. Let's create the section. So uh, let's create the section itself like this. All right, yes. Okay, so now we can actually say goal gallery. Yes, we are going to be posting all of his goals like this. Yes. Now, very important, we are going to be creating, the gallery. Yes, I want to put the whole gallery in a div. So that when we are styling in the future, we can decide to flex it. We can decide to, yes, put them in a grid of some sort, or you know what I mean, yes. And then we are going to be lining them up like that, yes. So now before you actually insert your pictures, you need a figure, right? Yes. So let me highlight about it. And the figure elements represent some flow content, optionally with a caption. Yes, like I said, we ideally want this to flow in the future. So flow content, optional with a caption. Yes, now the caption is going to come later. Yes, now this is self-contained and typically referenced as a single unit from the main flow of the document. A lot of English and jargon. This simply means you are going to be putting a figure here. Yes, you are going to source an image. That's how I want to think about it. According to the explanation, it can be anything, but you know. So let's see, maybe Haland celebrating, if that makes sense to you, like this, right? And then our source. Let's look at some of the images we have here. Uh, okay, that's not celebration. That's a killer goal, and this is okay. Let's use this. So again, you copy the relative parts, guys, please. All right, and then you go back into our file, and then if you can paste it over here, that should do that. And you can save. So now that's our figure, yes. And now, very importantly, we are going to add a fake caption, right? What do I mean by fake caption? Our fake caption is going to be nested in the whole figure, and that's going to be like a caption. So think of how we see those news, should I say news blogs and things, right? Uh, I'm really farming the UCL way about Charlie, how you go doing? Yes. So see like this. And that's it. That's it. Because we are not styling. I don't actually let's see how it's looking. Oh my god. This trust it. Yeah, so because you are not styling, I think we are done. Because you're not styling, we are done. You understand? Yes. But we are going to be adding a bunch of this in order to populate the div and actually make it a gallery. Because we are claiming it to be a gallery, right? So let's and then we'll switch up the pictures in there like that and what have you. Yes. So let's go. Let's actually see how the main thing is looking. Uh, yes. Now you can see that for now everything is flowing downwards, right? Everything is flowing down. Everything is flexed down. The flex direction is down, right? Hand. So now yes, we can see the essence of the figure and the fake caption, right? So this is a fake caption and this is a figure. They're like two beans in a pot. So that's how we nested them together. So you have them over there like that, and like that, and like that. Now this could be different pictures, different captions. I mean, whatever you want. Yes. So that's our gallery section done. Yeah, all right, people. So now you can finally add a contact section, right? And then we'll be done with most of the stuff. So we do the contact section, and then we do the footer, and then we can be done with the HTML part of things, and then we can start styling. Yeah. Yeah. So okay, let's get into it. Yeah. So now we're going to create a section, right? Yes. Now for this section, we are going to call it the contact section. I didn't add the comments. Let me add. Yes. It's good practice to be keeping comments in your code. Yeah. Uh, something like this. All right. Yes. So contact section like this. Yeah. So if you have contact section like this, we should be good, right? Yes. So now you can come along and then we'll fill in. So first we need a caption, right? And I'm still going with the H2s, right? So contact let's see, Haland, right? Or is a foot. How do we contact footballers? Okay, let's say agent. I think that makes sense, no? Yes. And then now we need to make the form. So this is the actual form. Again, I'm going to comment it for good practice. So let's see the actual form. But something is coming up. So let me write something special over here so that you'll be able to understand. Send data to the server. Yes, now this only we are only doing front end for the moment. So we are not going to be actually doing that. But there are some keywords here that I want you to understand before we get to, yes. So now for our forms, we need action. You understand? So action really means like URI. Now not LI because we want to identify uh let's say the destination or what we want to do. You understand? Yes. So for this form, the action we want to do is we want to be submitting information, right? Uh, want to be submitting information, right? Yes. And now again, we don't just leave it at that. Now we want to see the method. Now for the method, we are also going to do post. Like I said, we are sending data to a server, not to the server, a server. The servers are going to be different depending on the application and blah 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 blah. Yes, so we are sending data to a server, right? Yes. Yes. So that's why I'm going to say post. Yes, I hope I'm reaching some souls. And now we can add labels. Understand? Ideally, we want to know who is sending us this information. Yeah. Yes. So we can see label. Let's add a label tag like this, right? Yes. Now for this label, we are going to ask for the person's what full name, right? Yes. So let's just say full name, full name, like this. And then let me zoom. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So this label is going to be asking for the person's full name, right? Yes. Now before I move on to the next session, now we need another keyword over here. I want to tell what the label is for. You understand? Yes, so we can say for and then put name. Actually, it can be anything, but it should be a syntax that you be comfortable with because you want to map it with, input. You understand? It should match the ID of the input. You understand? Yes. Now I don't want us to get confused yet. At least it's too soon to be confused, right? Yeah, so let's run whatever we have done so far and then see our outcomes. Let's see, let's see. Okay, yes, so we have contact Haland's agent and then what? Full name, right? Yes, now our label is not working properly. I do not know why. Mm, but let's move on. Yes, that should be a label, right? Yes, let's let's keep moving. Let me add more content and then we'll see the root cause of the issue. So yes, just that one label. And now I'm going to make the input field for that label, right? Yes. So we are going to make the input field for that label. Now, input is just, yes. Now, these are our input tags. Again, these are all tags, HTML admin tags. Now, this input tags, it just goes with, it has only an opening. It has no closing tag. So we don't go and do the forward slash and then close it. No, it has only one tag. Yes. So now we can put in the attributes. We can put in the stuff that we want until we are done. You understand? Yes. So we need a type. And then the type is going to be text because someone's full name is text. You understand? Yes. Now here comes what I was talking about. For the ID, you're going to say name because we want to match it to this label. You understand? That's how I'm going to explain it. It's really high level, but like what matters is that you understand. For now, this is a crash course. So quick understanding. Yeah. Yes. And then you add a keyword required. You understand? That shows that the user is supposed to add this. I mean, you can't send us a message without your full name. So we add required. And then don't stress yourself with this. The browsers are going to know what to do once you are adding this required. Yes. and we have something we call the placeholder. Yes, now what do I mean by a placeholder? So a placeholder is going to be in our input field, right? Let me see, the text area or something. Yes, it's going to be in our input field to show the user what we are expecting, right, of them. So it's going to show the user what you're expecting of them. That, oh, input your name, because they'll see Haland's name and they'll be like, oh, okay, yes. So I'm supposed to also input my what? Input my name. You understand? Yes. So now that I have been able to create a corresponding input for this label, let's run again and then we'll see where we are. Actually, we just do a refresh, right? And we are supposed to just go back to the browser because we have the live server. Yes. Okay. Yes. So now we can see that full name and then the text is over here. You understand? Yes. And then we can put in whatever name, our full name. You understand? Yes. This is the start. And this is the beginning of the form. So the label and then the corresponding input, the label and then the input. So we have been able to make that work like that. Yes. Now let's add some more stuff, for them to add their emails, and yes, because we want to know that we want to add more requirements for them to be able to successfully send us a message. Yes. So now let's add another label for our email. So we can say label, just write email, right? And let's get going. Yes. Okay. Let me see where the labels align. All right, it's in the same line. Okay. Yes. Now you can just see label. And again, we need a for keyword. So we say email. Yes. Now, oh, and then we add for. So this is for our email inputs, which we are going to make later. You understand? Yes. So we just say email, or we can be cheeky about it to say what user email or something like that. Now that's camel case. Let me keep quiet if I start confusing some people, right? Yes. So now we are going to create the corresponding input for this. Yes. So our input tag, and again, this one doesn't need to be closed. This particular input tag doesn't need to be closed. Yes. So type. Now this time our type is not going to be text. It's going to be email. Understand? Yes. Now this is where the documentation will be useful. You can read through and see the various types of types, the various types we have. You understand? Yes. So type will be email and then ID. Now we want to match the ID to the for every time to show that, oh, this input is for this label, right? Yes. So what did we give it first? The for was email. So we give this one to email. Yes. And now we can come to name. So now our name is going to be user email, like this, because it's the user's email. Yes. Our name is going to be the user email. Yes. And now we also add this keyword required. We want them to always input their email because before they are able to send us what a message. And now our placeholder to tell these users what to do, right? So we say Haland. Let me see. So Haland at uh, example.com. This should work, right? So Haland at example.com, and this should take us like that. So our placeholder is Haland at example.com. Yes. Yes. So yes, now let's go and check our browser again. Let's go and check how far we are going. So I don't want to put it side by side because I don't want to distract. Yes. Yes. So we have this our full name and then our user what? Our user email. You understand? Yes. So now while we are at it, I want us to practice, a wildcard tag. You understand? Yes. So to see, you see how basically these two labels and inputs are side by side. You understand? Now if you want to brute force the situation so that they are stacked on top of each other, you can do what is called a line break. You understand? BR tag. Now I don't really advise this kind of stuff. Use your CSS and then padding and what have you, and then you have similar effects but we are not starting yet. So I just want to, yes, I just wanted to sneak it in, but I didn't speak about it. So yes, these are line breaks. Understand? We add a line break to this. Now you can add as many as you want, like that. So let's add another one. And then when we save, move to our browser, we can see it's spacing out, like more lines, spacing has been applied. You understand? So now that's uh, line breaks for you. Yes. So now we are going to make the form, we're going to add more to the form. You understand? Yes. So now uh, I want to add some buttons. Yes, I realize you have not made use of a lot of buttons. You understand? Yes. Now these buttons are buttons that allow us to select, from choices. Now let me put it like that. You understand? Yes. So now to do this, you are going to be using radio. So we're going to be using radio buttons. You understand? And then after that, we are going to be doing some for some checkboxes too. Understand? And then we'll also try a drop down. You understand? Yes. So now let's look at how radio buttons look like. Let's try how radio buttons look like. Yes. Okay. Yes. So now I want to introduce a very interesting tag. Now to group these buttons together, the radio buttons and everything, I want to use the field set tag. Yes. Now the field set elements represent a set of form controls optionally grouped under a common name. Understand? So this our field set is going to be for our radio buttons. Let's keep that at the back of our head. This is going to be uh for our radio buttons. This is for our radio section. You understand? Yes. Now let me add a comment over here and say buttons. Say buttons. Let's study about some buttons because you realize that buttons are very necessary. Yeah. Yes. And now we're going to be using this legend tag. Now legend is just like a caption. You know. Uh, yes, a caption for the contents of the field set. You understand? Yes. So all this is going to come into light, but let's forget most of the other English and let's just see a caption, right? So a caption. So a caption. So priority level. Now our caption is priority level. This is our legend. This is what they are to, should I say, decide on. Yes, this is what they are to decide on. Understand? Yes, and now we can come and create the inputs. Uh, yes. So these are our inputs. Yes. So our input, you see the type. Yes. Now this type will be radio. So I'm going to run and show us what the radio looks like very soon. And our ID is going to be, let me call it priority low. Because our caption deals with priority, right? Yes, let's call it that for now. Now bear with me. And we say our name is, let me see. Let's get creative, priority. Our name is priority, right? Like this. Oh my god, what's happening? So our name is priority. And then what should we, okay, let's add a value. Yes, now value will be low. Now when we add this value, we say low. And then we add the keyword checked. Yes, now think to yourself, what is this going to do? Yes, you probably guess right. Like I always see, smart people. Yes. And now we can close our opening tag like that. Yes. Now we have to create a label for this button. Yes. So as you can see with the pattern, we create for, so we need a label and then an input, label and input, label and input. You understand? Yes. Now label for priority. Am I spelling that wrong? Priority low. Yes. And as you can see over here too, the IDs are matching again for this. So that's why we give the IDs and we have to match it to show that, oh, this is what you're doing for. And now the text that is going to appear on the screen. So we said it's low priority, right? So we just write low. No, you understand? Because maybe let's see, how do I play this? So maybe Alan is a very busy person, yeah. So we don't want to. Yes. So this is a radio button. Now we gave it checked. So ideally we want our users to be checking low priority, right? Because we don't want to be responding very, I don't know, abruptly or something. Yes. So let's just start like that. Now these options could be anything. And again, that's the goal of this course. Like you can be building something totally different while watching. It doesn't necessarily have to be the same thing. The key is that you're learning. So your radio could be for any other option. You understand? And this is the field set right here. You see, we are grouping these buttons, and then we can also style them accordingly to make it easy to style, right? Yes. So now let's get back to backing. And then we'll be done for that. Yes. And now I'm going to add another line break like that. Okay. Yes. And now we are going to add another radio option, right? Yes. So we say input. Yes. Now for this one, I made the input first. Bear with me. So input, the type is radio again. Radio. So our type is going to be radio again, right? Yes. Now, uh, okay. Yes. So now we add in our ID. Our ID is going to be priority. Let's see, high. But I think I've done low already, right? Yes. So we'll say the priority high. Now we see the name equals priority, right? Yes, the name can be the same. The IDs do have to be unique. Understand? And the value equals high. And then that's pretty much it. We can't give this also checked because that will mean both will be checked. And then our logic kind of goes into the water. And no one likes the water. I don't know, you like the water, but I don't. I definitely do not like the water. All right, yes. So label. Now we make a label for it, yes. So now before we write the for, we come and check our ID. What ID do we give? And we say priority high. Yes, these are the important things when dealing with forms, like matching the IDs and nesting and all that stuff. Yes. So we do this, and then now we can give it the text. Now this text is what is going to be appearing on the page, not our name, not our no, not all of these keywords that are going to be appearing, but what is in between the tags. Usually, that's what is coming on our screen. Yes. So now we say hi. In fact, let's add in a bracket. Let's see urgent. Would I even work? Why is it giving me error? Bracket is code. Right? Let's just say hi. I've configured my work environment in some way. So let's just say hi. You understand? Yes. And then we can close our field set. Yes. So now let's see if we are cool with our radios. Let's check the condition of our radio buttons. Okay. Hi. Uh nope, it doesn't. Name of priority. Okay, yes. So we mismatch, the spelling for the names. Yes. Now the names have to be the same too, so that we check one at a time. You understand? Yes. The names can be the same. The values will have to be different. Yes. So now when we go back and then we are checking between these now, ideally it should be one. Yes, it should be one at a time. So we have to keep the name values the same, and then we'll have this effect where we can be checking one at a time like this. So low, high, low, high, low, high. Yes, and that's that. Yes, now bear with me. Let's do some check boxes. Yes, now all this is for your sake. I don't know, you start doing this and you notice that you're getting some weird. I don't blame the clients. They also really need it. Some are also very hands-on, like basically teaching you, I don't know, terrible designs. And yes, so we also create another field set for the checkboxes they are going to create. Understand? And then we create another legend. Now that's the main question that we are asking for the people to should I say, choose from the options. You understand? We are asking them they are interested in. So let's say interested in, yes, I mean it's Haland too. What do you want? What do you want from us? Should we consider you for when our contract dies, or you want us to run down our contract, or you want us to, you know, yeah, that type of thing. And then let's calm down and let's create the input. Yes, for this, I'm always creating the input first. Yes.
All right, so the sound went out again here. So now we need to set our input type to checkbox. The type of input that we want to be dealing with is ideally a checkbox. I don't know why the sound is messing up. Maybe this it's because this has been a very long filming section. So yes, my machine is not very. Yes, now we need to give an ID. And now once again, the ID has to be very unique. You understand? Yes, these IDs have to be very unique, special, because we are going to be targeting them in the future. And yes, and then now our name. Now our name for the checkboxes, even if we match them up or not, it doesn't really, should I say, matter us. But the checkboxes, we want to be able to take more than two options, so we can even still match the name between the options and still have, the same thing. And then I have to give it a value. Yes, now the value you have, should I say, freedom. You have a lot of freedom to do whatever you want. You understand? Yes. So now that we've done with the inputs, now we can create a corresponding label for this particular input. And once again, when we are doing the label, the for must match our ID. Yes. So we say for endorsement. So our for in the quotation mark, we put the endorsement because we want to match the ID, so that this input is for this label. And then we add the text itself that will appear on the website. So that's the endorsement still over there in between the tags. All right. Yes. And then when we are done with that, we can add, I think we need to add another option. Yes. Yes. Okay. So we add another input tab. And again, the type is going to be checkbox. Yes. Now, ideally, I want you to be repeating this because it's good practice for you. I mean, you're starting out. It's only even recommend doing the, yes, you have to copy and then follow along. So our ID is transfer, yes. Now maybe you want to transfer Erling Haland to your club or something. So this is what you're going to use. So again, the name, we are matching it to the one we had prior, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. We are matching it to the one we had prior, but it doesn't really matter. Yes. So now it creates the label, and now our label is going to match the ID once again. So for transfer, because we want to show that this is for that particular, this is for that label.
I hope that spells right. Actually, I don't hope, I don't care. And that's going to be our transfer inquiries, like that. Yes. So now let's look into our browser and see if we have been able. Yes. So now let's our browser. Let's see if we have been able to achieve our goals. Yes. Now we have come a long way. We've made tables. We've made another list. We've made our YouTube is not responding. We've made a whole lot of things. You understand? Go gallery and everything here. Yes. So now this is what you have made now. So now you're interested in an endorsement deal or a transfer inquiry. Yes, now that did not work. Let's see where we've landed. Okay. Input type is checkbox, ID is transfer. Our label is for that. Mm, let's add a line break. Let's add a line break over here. Let's see. Right, like this. Input type equals. Okay, I see it. CHECK. Uh, so let's do this. Okay, sorry. Oh no. Yes. So now let's check again. Come here. Okay, yes. So now we're able to do that. And then also, so now when we move to our checkboxes, we will see that we can actually select, the two at the same time. regardless of if we match the name values or blah blah blah. Yes, that's because you could be interested in both. Understand? In all these transfers, there are a lot of add-ons and you know all that kind of stuff. So you can be interested in both, and then that too works. Understand? Yeah. So that's a checkbox, and that's something you might maybe think about when doing choosing between a text box, right? And then also, uh, yes, that's something you might maybe think about when choosing between maybe a checkbox and then a radio button. You understand? Yes. Now let's add an area for them to type a message. Maybe they are interested in none of what we are saying and they want to do something really what specific, right? Yes. So we want to uh, I want to add some message, right? We want to create a text area for them to send us their message. We want to create a text area for them to be able to send us their messages, right? Yes. So let's see. So we start with the label. Yes. Now label our label is for message. Now once we have done this, we are basically tying our hands. Our ID has to be message in small letters, of course. Should I just say message or send us a message? Yes, again, it's up to you. This is a freestyle course. You can do what you want. Yes, now the tag we need over here is text area. You understand? The tag we need over here is text area, right? Yes. Now for text area, we need a name. So let's call the name user message like this. Now our ID, as I said rightfully, is going to be message because we already tied our hands. Yes. Yes. And now we need, actually we don't need, but I'm going to specify. Yes. So um, we want 4 rows. You can specify the rows that you want. You understand? Yes. Now you know rows, right? This side of things. At this point, you can focus on me now. Like this side of things. The line. Should I say line? Horizontally, yes. You're going to add 4 horizontal, should I say layers or whatever. Yes. And now you can have uh let me see. Let's add in a placeholder for placing holders. It says state your business, right? Yes. Because we have given you a lot of and you're telling us, oh, you don't like any of that. You want to state your business. You understand? Yes. Now let's check that. Let's check that first before we make a submit button. Okay, yes. So state your business. I think I'm going to do a line break. This all looks very ugly. Yehovah. Yes. We'll get to CSS very soon and then we'll clean up all of this, right? Yes. So before this, let me do 2 line breaks. Let me do 2 line breaks. So BR. Yes. Then if all things being equal, when we go back, the changes will be there. So let's quickly do our submit button. Yes. So now we do input, another input. You understand? Now this time the type is going to be submit. Submit like this. Yes. And now for our submit, we need a value. You understand? Just a value. Yes. Now we are going to make our value to send. Let me get rid of this. So our value is going to be send demand. You understand? Yes. Now I don't know. We are not there yet, but when we click this, right, it's going to send. Uh, it's going to send the form data to our action URL. You understand? Yes. So you will see that from the starting over here, when I wrote the action, I tried to make some backslash. Yes, that simply means it's not a keyword like, let's say we say type submit. It's not like that. It's supposed to be a URL. But for now, this whole project is make believe. We have not set up any, yes. So when we click submit, ideally we would have set up some systems for URL. So is going to take us to our action. You understand? Whatever we set for the action of the form, that's what's going to happen. You understand? Yes, so that's that. Yes, now let's confirm that our submit button actually showed up. Okay, yes. So this is our submit button. You understand? Yes, over here. Once again, let me clean all of this up. So where is our message? Let's do BR. Now in CSS, I might get rid of this all of this stuff, of course. Come on, man. So BR. I don't like doing this BR stuff, but yes. So that's basically it for our form. Yes, and that's what we have done for our form. Yes. Now you can go back and look at our form, our beautiful form. Yes. So we have been able to do that. Yes. So now this is what we have done so far. And now let's add a footer because we have a header over here. Let's go on and add a footer. And then the next thing we are going to be doing is styling. We're going to style our portfolio, our Haland portfolio very beautifully. We're going to style our portfolio very beautifully. Yes. All right. So now we have cleared the contact form. We have given Erling Haland a very beautiful means of contact from interested parties and all that. We've done checkboxes. We've done radio buttons and all that. Yes, now it's time to add a footer. Yes, now for this footer, I'm not going to go crazy, of course. Yes, it's literally the same. I don't know, the same principle when you're doing the headers, right? You can add in basically whatever you want. So loads and loads of hyperlinks. You see, you can add in some of the easy navigation. So you can copy the navigation portion of our header and then bring it here. But yes, I'm not going to do that. Yes, so now very important. You want to do where's my end? Yes. So we want to do a copyright symbol, right? Because it's our intellectual property. We just built this stuff, right? And the company and whatever. So we say copyright. We don't want people to just lift the design. Understand? Yes. And um let's see Haland Media, right? Yes, let's dream that Haland has hired us, right? Yes. And now we make use of our small tag. I believe we looked at this. Yes. And then we can add simply in there all rights reserved. Very simple, a very simple footer, right? Yes. And now we can go and then we look at and now we can go and we look at our end results. Yes, so we can see that's it over here beautifully. So copyright 2024, Alan Media, all rights reserved, highlighted over here. You understand? Yes. Yes. Now if we're using some bootstrap, we just see text center and then we'll be done with all this. To push it into the center. Yes, so this is our footer. And now let's look at the results one last time. And then we'll browse through all of what we have done. Right. Yes, so now this is our footer, right? You see 2024. Yes, now I know all of this looks very ugly right now, but our next session is going to be styling. Yes. We're going to style all of this up and then make it look not beautiful. I mean by my standards, not really beautiful. We are not going to do anything crazy, but at least we'll make it presentable. Yes. So I hope this HTML session has been a blast. Yes. Watch out for the CSS section.